But not every American shared Lorena's enthusiasm for this kind of social experiment. So much power in the hands of central government. So much public money at stake. In 1936, Roosevelt approached Congress with plans for 7 more projects, each on the same scale as the TVA. But Congress turned him down, refused him funding. The New Deal, begun as a stopgap measure to help the economy, had become a vast bureaucracy. Its agencies now involved in social work, in healthcare, in schooling and literacy, in art projects, cultural projects. In retirement, Herbert Hoover spoke for many conservative Americans when he declared enough was enough.
The cost of the New Deal threatens to exceed that of the Great War. Every one of you knows instance after instance of waste and folly in your own city and village. It appears day after day in the headlines of your papers. Multiply it by the thousands of other towns and communities in the United States, and you get the appalling total.
In Newburyport, Massachusetts, Myron Buxton felt the backlash against the New Deal more than most. He took his interviewer on a tour of this comfortable town. He showed him the Dalton Club, where the wealthy elite sipped their brandies and condemned the money wasted, they said, on the WPA.
See, trouble is, a place like this, they don't care how bad things get for the rest of us, so long as the taxes stay low. Bad times come along, they just shield their eyes. Those of us that are out of work, we're just bums, they say. Just drunks. They say the WPA is just a racket set up to give a bunch of loafers steady pay to indulge their vices. Ah. I tell you, people who got the money, they just want to see this as a beautiful old-fashioned horse and buggy town. Without even the horse buns in the street.
It goes without saying that Roosevelt wasn't a socialist. He wanted to save capitalism in America, not undermine it. So in his second term, he bowed to public pressure. He changed the tune of the New Deal, reining back the excesses of the early years. The WPA found its numbers reduced, angering those who depended upon it the most. America found herself asking the old question: whose responsibility were these unfortunates, the nation's or their own?
Of course, it goes without saying I'd rather not be in the WPA. I'd rather have a real job, sure. For a long time, I wouldn't even tell my mother. But then the WPA checks started coming through the door and the jig was up. She felt terrible. But what could I do? At least this way, it's not charity. At least I can say I worked for my money. I can hold my head up. I'm not loafing. I'm not trying to cheat in any way. You take this away from me, I got nothing.
As it turned out, it wasn't Roosevelt that ended the Depression, but the Second World War. A war which mobilized the nation, the fight against Japan and Nazi Germany, reducing unemployment as Roosevelt never could. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was never voted out of office. He won an unprecedented 4 elections and died in 1945, just 1 month before final victory in Europe was won. His legacy divides America to this day. The welfare system, the tax burden on the rich. American politicians still argue the balance between hands-on government protecting the poor and a hands-off government respecting the liberty of the individual citizen. But those who had suffered in the Great Depression knew which side they were on. As Myron Buxton reflected back in 1938, they had much for which to be grateful.
Well, all I could say is from where I'm standing, things are better now. I'm not work shy. I'm not a bum. Just a guy who needed a break. All the president's trying to do is to pull the United States out of a rut. I mean, you can't blame the man for trying, can you?